Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. So we talk everything Milan from Serie A meno due, Serie A minus 2 points from those snakes.
What did you say?
Minus 2.
Minus two. Minus two.
Stevie
Minus
P,
two.
Vinny T.
And there's two. Minus two.
This is what happens when you have kids, I'm assuming.
Minus two.
Well, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Guys, welcome to yet another. I don't know how many weeks has it been. Who knows? We are over 1,000 listens a week. We're over. We're over. Happy birthday, belated birthday to Steve. Today, myself, Gijo, and woo, the Nature Boy celebrating all the same birthdays. So that's pretty cool. We do have a special guest today, but you guys, before we get into the game, it was a fantastic week. It was a great week to be a Milanista. You know, you're getting
nice.
warm. You're okay.
Too
there?
hot in here.
Okay, so guys,
hot.
I'm going to we got our guest waiting there on the line. So obviously, because Presidente thinks that the presidential points are putting things in perspective, are not entertaining or anything. Well, our people that are commenting and everything say otherwise. So Steve is going to grace us once again, painting us a picture, if you will, of the presidential points, how they came to be this week. Go ahead, Steve.
And I apologize in advance for my voice, guys. It seems like I'm getting a little bit of a cold. But Presidente was on his high horse. He was on his high horse after Valentine's.
Mm-hmm.
He thought everything was good.
And it wasn't?
He was in the groove, he was mixing it up, and he was being a little bit let's say cocky. First lady would say, Marcel, do the dishes, and he would say, no.
In that voice?
No. I'm not doing the dishes, honey. I'm not doing the dishes.
And he got in trouble.
First lady, she put him into perspective, guys. So unfortunately, it seems like Presidente did a little bit too many calculations with his Valentine's Day gift. And it was not to the standards of the First Lady.
Okay. And he was feeling a bit down.
He was feeling down. And he was in his basement and he was thinking, I don't understand why that little heart box of chocolates, the ones with the cherry inside them.
Oh yeah, cherry blossom.
Cherry blossom. Why that didn't suffice the First Lady. And as he was lying down on his couch, and Presidente doesn't drink, right? So he had like 97-cent sparkling water on the floor from President's Choice. And as he gets up and he kicks the can of empty soda water, the song is playing in the background. And he feels the presidential points coming to him. And he's just writing down, and he's down on his luck.
He's feeling the air
Armpit
supply.
sweat hair, chest hair coming out of the canottiere, the wife beater, guys. The chain is like not even in well position. The cross is to the left and to the right. And this is how we got this week's presidential points, ladies and gentlemen.
Brought to you by Air Supply, which I'm sure is the Presidente's favorite band,
song, yeah.
Still from back in the 80s.
When he had the mullet.
Le Mulet, yes. So, guys, we have Empoli to talk. Thank you, by the way. Thank you very much. And Presidente, your points are over, perspectives are over. Just, deal with it. That's the way it's going to be. And the more you complain about it, the more me and Steve, it's going to be probably one podcast is going to be half an hour of just putting in perspective and 5 minutes of Milan. So, we have lots to talk about presidential points. We have our guest from, let me get this straight, he is half Egyptian, half Polish, living in the Netherlands.
Wow.
The land of Goldmember from the Austin Powers movie. So we do
Wasn't
have
Goldmember Belgium?
No, it was Dutch. You
Dutch?
freaky Dutch
Oh, yeah,
bastard.
Dutch.
Remember? So we're gonna get him on the line. We're gonna get him on the line. Hazem. And we're calling right now.
European Daltons, guys.
We got the European.
guys?
Yo, there we go. We got him on. Ladies and gents. From we were just saying how we're half Polish, half Egyptian, living in Holland. How fantastic is that? How are you? And welcome to Milan Weekly Podcast. How are you, Adam?
Thanks for having me on, guys. And yeah, it's a weird mixture, I know. So funny mixture, and I actually also used to live in Dubai, so that's another twist to it.
Well, but here's a true question: Mohamed Salah or Christoph Piontek? There's your question. See, are you torn in between both of them?
Right now, it has to be Piontek, because the combination of him being Polish and playing for Milan just wins it. So he's the total number one right now.
Fantastic. So tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? How you came to be a Milanista? This is the time to put yourself over.
Yeah, I live in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So and I used to live in Dubai. I'm a uni currently, studying history. And how I became a Milan fan is around 12 years ago when I was a young kid. Living in Dubai, Milan had a camp at Dubai, and the race Milan team, and that was in 2007. And yeah, they came, and I already liked Milan at that point, but I wasn't a full fan. We went with my dad to the hotel where they were staying at, tried to get pictures and conversations with the players, and talked to players like Shevchenko, and had a conversation with Ancelotti. And yeah, then we watched the game live, and ever since then, I just fell in love with Milan, and yeah, that's how I became a Milan fan, basically.
That's an awesome story. So I'm assuming you've watched the games there at the San Siro.
The San Siro, no, actually, the San Siro, I've never watched the game. So I've only watched the game of Milan at the stadium when they came to Dubai. So that's one of my dreams, actually, to watch the game at the San Siro. Especially the derby.
You and both of us from over here. Maybe one day we're gonna get there. So thank you for that intro. Where can people find you on Twitter, your handle, or Facebook?
Yeah, my handle on Twitter is at @ZahhabHazen. Doesn't matter. It's a simple spelling, yeah, obviously follow Milan.
There we go. So we're gonna get straight into it. So we're gonna go through our presidential points. We're gonna ask your point of view, Steve's point of view, and let's start off, Steve, with presidential point number one. So, he's saying like he's trying to put us over. The special announcements, we already did the special announcement, but the big, the birth announcement to our fellow Donato, our Milan Montreal club member, that gave birth to a son. Auguri, congratulations, and he named him Paolo.
Figli mascoli.
There we go. He wasn't going to call him Javier, that's for sure, right? So, congratulations to that, and straight into chapter one. Donnarumma shares the same birthday as like Vinny and Ric Flair, don't forget Presidente, turning 20 years old. While most of the attention has been going towards Piontek and Paquetá, Donnarumma has quietly shut out the opposition 5 times already in 2009. So Steve, to you first. Your thoughts on Gigio regaining his form and playing solid like we expected of him?
It's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gigio has been great in the past couple of games. He's been keeping it down at the back line. Obviously, the defense has been the big part of that reason for the clean sheets in the past couple of games since the Juventus game. But you have to give Gigio credit. The amount of times, whether it was against Genoa or even against Empoli, the amount of times he had to make some crucial saves when our defense made blunders is really important for the team. And obviously, he started off the season. He didn't start off the season amazing, but he got back into it. And I think he's definitely this season top 5. You could even put him top 5 keepers in Europe this season based on his form recently. So Donnarumma is really a great talent. Obviously, happy birthday to him. He's 20 now. Seems like ages that he's been playing for. And yeah, he's been great. And I hope to have him for the rest of his career at Milan.
Hopefully so. Yeah, both on our side. Steve, how about his footwork? I know we were very crucial to him, and it seems like he's been doing a lot better. He's doing what we expected of him, and I know there's been a coaching change as well. What do you take from all of this? Do you he's been basically standing on his head when we needed him to stand on his head.
Yeah,
Right?
and we've always asked and we've always said on the podcast, sometimes your keeper needs to make that save.
Yeah.
So that save, whether it be keeping us in a game where it's 1-1, to preserve the points, keeping a 1-0 lead, any save, even to change the momentum, he's come up with that save. I cannot discount that fact. He is no longer a teenager. Imagine.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot more vocal there in the back line, right?
Yeah.
He's talking a lot more to the defenders.
Seems like he's a bit. He's taking on a leadership role at the back line, and to his defense, we have been really critical of him, and we forget that he was a teenager.
We forget that he was a teenager, but we don't forget that he did go through turmoil with us. Whether we blame it on Raiola or not, but we still may be a little mad at him that he never came out and spoke himself, but he kept his mouth shut, right? And so far so good. Hopefully continues this way here, Steve.
But for him to take that next step in the leadership, let's say grow up on the field and off the field. We need him. He's grown up on the field, that's for sure. We need him to grow up off the field too.
Exactly.
He cannot show that he's 20 years old or a teenager when he's off the field. He's going to be looked at, Romagnoli doesn't seem like it's the type of person to speak a lot. But Milan needs to find that player who's going to speak. After a tough loss, someone's going to have to come out. And it's going to either be Gigio or it's going to be Romagnoli, but someone's going to have to grow up and someone's going to have to come out and speak. We've had the players in the past. Maldini was not a big talker, but when it was time for him to come out and speak, he spoke.
Exactly. So far so good, guys, right? And before we get into point number 2, which talks about results from last year to this year, let's take a time to talk about the game against Empoli, right? So, I don't know if you share the same views there, Azim. It was like the first half was like a bit scary where, okay, that is it going to be one of these games when we can't buy a goal, everything, and it seemed that the second half we got the goal that we deserved, but I know I got a little stressed out at one point. Empoli was like the guy had an open goal and he didn't put against a top team they would probably put that in. But how did you feel against Empoli? Did you share the same thoughts in first half versus second?
Yeah, definitely. The first half was really getting me stressed out, and I was like, this could really continue for the rest of the match if we continue playing like this. We were losing the ball a lot. We were not really fruitful in attack. Weren't formulating useful passes. Castillejo wasn't really understanding his role well in the first half. But then, obviously, in the second half, Gattuso must have had a great halftime talk and changed something up. And, we came out firing. Obviously, immediately with that goal. Piontek, unbelievable. This guy's just insane. And the movement for that goal, for the first goal, I don't know if you guys saw, but the movement was insane. The way he lost his defender. Obviously, the finish was simple, but the way he lost the defender was something else. And obviously, Castillejo stepped up. You can see this guy's talented. I've always expected a lot from Castillejo because of his times at Villarreal. This guy knows how to play. But despite needing to gain a bit of, he knows how to dribble. He knows how to slot that finishing. He understands it. Obviously, Çalhanoğlu, I think many people were slating him recently, but since that game against Atlanta, he's been playing well. You have to give him credit. He got the assist, and he's been running all over the field in that Empoli game. He was running all over. I think he was the guy who ran the most along with Kessie in that game. And defensively, he contributed greatly. Empoli is a great attacking side. Let's not forget. They won 3-0 last week. So, obviously, there were many stressful areas in the game, but at the end, we came out on top, and obviously the key in that was the second half. And our defense as a whole was great, and you have to give credit to Romagnoli again for commanding that defense. The amount of times Empoli were getting to spaces and Romagnoli was using his commanded force and decision-making to stop the attack by himself was really amazing. So, yeah, overall, great game. We're going in the right direction.
It was definitely a great feeling. But, Steve, there's been one guy that people haven't mentioned a lot, but we have, because we have been on hashtag Team Frank, Team Kessie. What a game, Kessie.
Oh, yeah.
What a game.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And definitely...
I'm on Team Kessie.
There we go. We got Team Kessie on us here. And, if you guys rewatch that game, because that's what I did, I rewatched it, and just looking at his passing, his dribble, going for that ball, and that relief, and the commentator said something, Steve, I'm going to ask you on this. On his goal, he said, he goes, if that was Messi, they would have called, wow, magical, this and that. Why are we speaking about this kind of goals? Steve,
100%.
What do you, Steve, go with, let's say, from Kessie's? I know it's been only one there, but how did you like his performance? Castillejo had, a fantastic performance, but a lot of the plays came from Kessie.
He does a lot of the work that doesn't show up in the stat sheet for sure.
Yeah.
We want to say... disrupting play and stuff like that. There's no stats that could really measure what he does. You have to watch the game and just appreciate the effort that the guy puts in. Does he have problems with his first control? Yeah. Does he have problems sometimes with decision making when he's in close spaces? Sure, no problem. But you cannot discredit the effort, and in the beginning of the year didn't have the best start to the year.
No.
And again, we say it all the times, manage your expectations with these players. I personally am one of the fact that I will not fall in love with anybody, but I'm falling in love with Frank Kessie.
Because of the heart.
Just of the heart, right? Someone like us, like myself, yourself, Isam, I don't know exactly where you played, if you ever played professional soccer, but I haven't, and Vinny surely does not play professional soccer.
On the PlayStation sometimes.
Someone of that, someone who puts in that much work is a workman-like player that everybody could relate to, right? And the commentator, I was watching it on DAZN too, and I agree with them 100%. There are certain players that you expect that type of finish.
Yeah.
And when it comes from someone who's labeled a lumberjack, that should be goal of the year. Like, you don't expect that from someone like him, and that was a pure class finish. That's class.
Definitely, to have to keep everything down smooth and being 1-on-1.
I want to talk about my friend
Castillejo. So what do you want to talk about Castillejo? That he did. That he ran as much as Messi and he had a fantastic game.
Castillejo, guys, the first half, he was wild.
He didn't make us miss Suso.
Yeah, he was completely wild. The first half, he was holding on to the ball too long. He was making the wrong decision here, the wrong decision there. But in the first half, correct me if I'm wrong, was he not the most dangerous of all our players?
Definitely. Do you agree with that there, Hazem?
I would say he was trying to do the most. And especially that back heel and that curve shot, that was a great save by the keeper, and I thought that was insane work from Castillejo.
Yeah, and this is the second time. If you guys remember the first time we played Empoli, correct me if I'm wrong, that goaler stood on his head again. We had like almost 30 shots.
Yeah.
And we came out with a 1-1 draw. And that's basically what it is. That's what Serie A is. In every game, you're going to get someone different who's going to step it up. Even in the lower level teams, someone will step up and rob you points. But Castillejo's second half, guys, it's a long time that I haven't seen someone who's not labeled a starter put in a performance.
Oh yeah, he was part of all 3 goals and everything, and we just see it's a great option to have right now. And we didn't. I know we're playing Empoli, but it was a great substitute for Suso, correct?
Yeah.
But see, on that note, and it brings us to presidential point number 2. Like he's talking about, compared to the same points last season, Milan is at +4 points ahead when we're talking about the games. So he's saying, when looking at the stat, are you surprised Milan is just 4 points ahead of last season's place? Does it feel like they should be even more further ahead than the stats indicate? What do you take from all this? Do you think yes, with the recent results only +4? Do you think it's because everybody else has been losing out on points, or is it just from we've been just lucky? How do you place this +4 compared to last year?
I wouldn't place too much meaning to it. I would say we have to look at the place we're in, and obviously the other teams have lost in several places, but I think the main reason why we're not so far ahead of last season in terms of points is the injury crisis we had this season, and that went on for several months. I don't think we had even close to such an injury crisis last season at any point. So obviously the period of November, December, January, nearly half our squad was injured at one point at that time, and those are through key games in the season, including the Juventus game. So I would say the main reason why we're not so far ahead of last season is the injury crisis and the +4 is misrepresentative of how well this team is doing. However, the fact that Piontek and Paqueta came in is also a big factor of why we're improving. So I would say that we shouldn't look at that +4 too much, and we should focus on how well the team is doing mentally, and the results are pretty up, and I think they can continue this to make top 4.
Definitely, no, makes a point. You, Steve, it's like basically surprise from our performance. We're playing a lot better, but at this time last year we were, not even close to this kind of spot. Do you put the blame? Not the blame. Do you think that this is all because of the other teams just not capitalizing?
I think we have to look at ourselves. I am a schedule watcher. I do watch. I watch results that we should have had, and we drop points. And I'm a firm believer of that. The players themselves will not schedule watch. That's the fans' job. That's our job. We schedule watch and we see where we lost points.
Yeah.
You understand? So that +4, guys, it's very easy that we could have been +7.
We went through Benevento last year. Was it not last year? Or was it the year before? But plus it could be plus, like you were saying. We how many points missed here?
The 2-0 loss against the 2-0 lead that we had against Naples, and we lost it. We lost points there.
Yeah.
Atalanta, final minute, we lost again. We could have took 6 points from there.
Yeah.
And then so on and so forth. Empoli, we just talked about it, 1-1. These are games that the good teams, the top 4 teams, are going to win. And that's what's scary. The top teams, even when they play bad, will win those games. Juventus this weekend was terrible against Bologna.
And they pulled it off.
Terrible. They were a shell of themselves. If someone started watching soccer this week and took a look at Juventus and said, this is the team that won 7 straight Scudetto champions, they think that we would be playing in a farmer league.
Yeah.
Because they were nowhere close to Juventus is the best team in Serie A. Let's face it, guys. We're the Milan Weekly Podcast, but we say the truth.
Yeah.
This week here, against Bologna, they were worse. They were worse than what they played against Lazio. They were worse than what they lost when they lost in the Coppa Italia against Atalanta. And I'm convinced they were worse than what they showed in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid.
So we'll see how they go. We're not aiming for that first spot there, but let's just hope we keep on the.
We could easily say we could have been easily doing this podcast in 3rd place.
Easily, you're right.
Points,
yeah. If we didn't lost
so
points,
we have to look at that as people who talk on. Again, the players. Maybe some will do it, maybe some won't. But us, the fans, will do it. I'm one. I will do it. I will stream through the schedule and I will see. You know what? We lost points here. We lost points there. It's normal, guys. We're not gonna win every game, but you have to go back and you have to assess your first half of the season. Where did you lose points? You lost points against these teams that unfortunately you should have won. And depending the games, sometimes crap games, the 0-0 games against Torino, it was a 0-0 game, but it was even. A tie is just. And sometimes you say, you know what, the tie was just.
It's more like those games you're talking about, the Napoli's, losing those points, or the Atalanta.
And I'm not on this podcast saying that we're better than Naples. We're not.
No.
But we could have robbed points.
We could have definitely robbed points. The way right now, everybody else doesn't seem to be capitalizing. By the way, Interistas of the world, how are you? How are you?
-2. -2.
So let's finish off with the chapter number 3, the Coppa Italia preview. So tomorrow's the first leg of the Coppa Italia semifinals in Rome as Milan faces Lazio. So Gattuso must balance continuity and stability versus needing to rest some players. So Hazem, to you, which changes, if any, would you make for tomorrow's starting 11? Do you change it all up, or do you keep any key players? Well, what do you do if you're Gattuso?
I mean, obviously, there's the situation with Çalhanoğlu of his wife giving birth. She's obviously expected tomorrow. So the Sky Italia is saying that he's gonna put Borini on the wing instead of him and replace Rodriguez with Laxalt. I personally wouldn't do that. I think this Coppa Italia game is that big for our season and for our aims that we want to win the Coppa Italia as a whole, which came from Elliott themselves, that I think we can't risk starting with Borini. I've always been a fan of Laxalt. and I feel like he can perform the wing role really well. Obviously, he's a wing back, but I feel his attributes can really do well in the wing role because of his insane pace and his dribbling ability, believe it or not. So I would replace Çalhanoğlu with Laxalt and keep Rodriguez at that left back position. So as for the other changes, I would keep Suso. I know Castillejo has been great, but you know we need Suso's one of our marquee players, and he needs to perform in such a game. And I don't know if Castillejo will be able to do that. He may put in a good defensive effort, but I don't think he'll be able to make as much a difference as Suso in such a key game. As for the rest, I think fairly the same. Between Calabria and Conti, I go with Calabria. This is why we play Conti on the weekend. Calabria is great, very underrated. I know many Milan fans want Conti to start over him, but I disagree, at least not yet. Conti's great. Calabria is really underrated. This guy is linking up with Suso is really good, and his runs on the wing, his understanding, his movement, his crosses. At this point, he's at a bit of a higher level than Conti. So other than that, obviously, Piontek starting ahead of Cotrone. And, other than that, everyone's the same. And, that'll be my changes.
Okay, those are interesting changes. By the way, don't ever take Borini's name in vain like that ever again. And he was robbed by the VAR. Thank you very much for Steve. He's saying with Laxalt instead of playing on the wing. How about let's go with Bilia? Would you put Bilia in there? Who will give Bakayoko a rest, or do you ride this hot streak and just try to change everybody in there?
This is the team has to take a look at what's coming up, right? So we have Sassuolo over the weekend.
Yeah.
So we cannot underestimate that. We're in a good position right now.
Yeah.
We're in a good position where we can decide, and I think we have the depth not because we have the depth that our players are fantastic off the bench, just because I think Lazio's going through an injury crisis like Milan went through.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't afford, if they want to stay in the race for the 4th Champions League spot, I don't know what crybaby Simone Inzaghi is going to do. I know guaranteed he's going to complain about a VAR or complain about some reffing decision, because that's just basically what he does.
Who does he think he is, Mazzarri?
Probably. He's getting to that level, listening to the guys and girls on Serie A Calcio show, with Nima and John Solano and Chloe. Fantastic podcast, and that they were saying Simone Inzaghi is getting to the Walter Mazzarri stage of complaining.
Wow, that's pretty high. That's pretty high.
So he's getting up there. He's going to become a phenomenon if he continues complaining. So I don't know what Lazio is going to do, but I know what Milan should do, and I agree. I think Ricardo Rodriguez should get some rest. I would personally continue to ride Conte in this Coppa Italia match, just because I'm a Calabria fan. I admire what he does. I think just Conte, even at I don't know if he's 100%, but even at whatever he's been showing against Empoli, it's not just the crossing, it's not just the runs, it's not just the defensive work. It's the intellect of the game. I think his soccer IQ is higher. And maybe just because of experience, but the ball the ball on Castillejo's goal. Traditionally, that would not come from Calabria.
No.
Let's face it. That's the Calabria. It's you whip in the cross. That was purposely raso terra, tiro cross.
The Conti's got the goods.
He's got the. We have a great problem on that right.
They're
back.
different players.
Yeah, they're different players.
They're different players.
We have a great problem on that right back, guys.
We have a good rotation, and hopefully we come out with a result. What do you before we close this off? How about your prediction? Do you think we take a home point? We win. What do you say there, Azam?
Just to touch on the Calabria Conti thing, I think it's a good problem to have. I mean, if we've come to the stage of that problem, that means we're going in the right direction. As for the prediction, look, Lazio, they're in a horrible injury crisis. Like the predicted lineups, they're going to have to start Leiva at center back, and obviously they have Lulic injured now, and Radu already suspended, and Alberto already injured. So I think they have many problems, especially in defense. So we have to take advantage. This is a must-win for Milan, or at least a draw. But I think Lazio are going to put up a really good fight. They know this is their home. This is basically the make or break for them for the Coppa Italia, because they're not getting anything at the San Siro, especially if we just decide to sit back if we have a good result. So I think Lazio are going to they're going to keep their attacking approach, leaving many spaces in behind, and I think this is the perfect for Piontek. I think Piontek is going to have a great game again. I know we're used to it, but, again. And I think we're going to take advantage, and we're going to win 2-1.
All right, win 2-1. How about you? You going with Cutrone? Or with Piontek? Are we winning? Are we tying, Steve?
I'm going with Piontek double.
All right. You, Steve, win?
For me, personally, I hate that the Coppa Italia plays a return leg, and I've never seen this in my life. And
only the semifinals.
Only the semifinals. I can't understand it. So I would have liked it to be just a one game. To be very honest, I'm looking at maybe. I think it's gonna be 1-1.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Maybe a 1-1. But always, let's see what we can come up with this game tomorrow, and then we'll have the weekend game. So. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Please give us again, where do we follow you on the Twitter machine? Just go ahead and plug away there, Hazem.
Yeah, follow me at Zahab Hazem, or you can find me at Hazem Zahab if you just type in the name. And obviously follow Milan I if you don't already, to get news and stuff. So yeah,
and he's usually using the hashtag #AskVinnyandSteve, so you guys could click on his link from over there. Once again, thank you for being a trooper. What time is it there? 3:00 in the morning.
3:16 a.m.
These kids, they're young. They're okay.
Go get some sleep.
Go get some sleep, buddy. Thank you so much once again.
All right, thanks for having me on, and happy birthday, Vinny, as well.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, bye. Peace out.
Bye. Nice little. 3:30 in the morning. These kids.
3:30 in the morning.
Well, over there they got legalized marijuana, like here in Canada. Maybe.
I don't know. Would that make him not sleep more?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So Steve, we got a couple of things to go. Do we call Francis? He doesn't want to be bothered. Huh?
No.
He said he doesn't want to be bothered. But guys,
Marisu.
what am I doing? What am I doing for only our listeners? You're supposed to tell me. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And Wanda came out and she was like, listen to us. We're a Milan podcast and we're talking about Icardi. But were we not all happy? Where, guys, let's be honest here. Holy shit, did they get screwed with that? Did they get screwed?
Yeah.
Why don't you answer? It's Mauriz.
Yeah.
Hello, Mauriz. Hey guys, we have Mauriz just called us.
Surprise guest.
He's a surprise guest on the Milan Weekly podcast from Milan Club Toronto. How are you, Mauriz?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Did you just?
How about you?
We're doing good. You just sensed that we were recording tonight. You wanted to call in.
Yeah, I decided to call in because let's make it a special happy birthday, Vinny.
We're making it a special happy birthday.
Yeah. So I decided to call in and wish you a happy birthday on behalf of myself and the rest of Milan Club Toronto.
Me, thank you very much.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman.
And how about Kumbara Steve over here? It's a belated. You got to give him a belated happy birthday life too.
A verbal belated happy birthday to Steve, but we spoke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you guys have your own little thing over there. But thank you very much for la chiamata, Mauriz. Forza Milan. I don't want to.
Let's take his prediction for the Coppa Italia.
Yeah, you know what, Mauriz? What do you think tomorrow?
What do we think tomorrow? Well, we're going to win. Well, that's the main objective. Any game we go into, I don't think, let's get a draw. No. Every game I hope that we're going to win.
And for you, Cutrone or Piontek?
Piontek.
I see even him with the same thing as Hazem from over there. But once again, thank you very much for la chiamata, and we're gonna talk.
Not a problem, guys.
And we're gonna make sure that Mauriz is our first call, and we have our late night call-in talk show. Thank you, Mauriz. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Happy birthday.
Thanks, bud. Ciao.
Ciao.
This is
on the
live.
fly. On the fly.
It's live, And do you know what to ask Tommy if you have to ask him?
Tommy, I don't know what he's going to talk about tonight.
You know what, guys? Let's just.
Well, hold on. Before we talk,
Yeah, 'cause it's too many talks.
Too much talking. Yeah. We have a serious problem on the hand.
What's the problem?
So at right back, we have a fantastic problem.
Yeah.
Conte, Calabria.
Mm-hmm.
Conte, Calabria. It seems Cutrone is looking a little bit less happy these days. And I know that deep down inside, he's happy that Piontek is scoring goals. But there's a darkness in there where he wants to be on the pitch.
Okay, hold on. Are you going according to these rumors?
No, I'm just going body language.
Okay.
I'm going body language, like coming in as a sub. I think that in his mind, he was gonna share the duties up front, or Gattuso's gonna find a way to play both of them.
Okay, but he's still young.
And that's one thing that I like to touch on the Empoli game. He's gonna have to stop this Piontek out, Cutrone in sub. Against Empoli, I know it sucks. I know you're up 3-0. The guy wants to continue to score goals. And I don't blame him. I don't want him to lose that. You know, it's 3-0. The game will open up for him.
Yeah.
He wants to continue to score. I'm not saying embarrass or you know, I'm not saying Milan's going to embarrass someone 7-0 but you know what? The other teams do. The other teams put up 7 goals against other teams. And that changes the goal differential. And you know that whether it would have been 4-0 and then we ended up with a 3-0, if you look at the goal differential, we're tied now with Roma instead of being ahead of Roma.
It's a point, and I think we're reading way too much into this. I think tomorrow he will start. That's my personal opinion. I think if he lets his agent speak for him, I think it will be a huge mistake. We've seen it. We've seen it in the past. Patrick, we love you. You did took Milan on your back when Higuain wasn't scoring. But we got to remember, you're still young. You're future, right? And if for now your job is to come off the bench, you have been doing a lot of goals for us. But I don't think, without offending you, as impactful as Piontek has done. Am I wrong by saying that?
No.
So, not that your goals weren't important, they were very important, but Piontek really has that, like, wow. Like, right now we're in that little lovey-dovey stage, and it's just like a wow effect, but I wouldn't worry right now. I wouldn't worry. I get where you're coming from. Body language, I think I would have to rewatch it and see, but that's why I think he should start tomorrow.
I think he should start tomorrow as well.
But I don't think you should risk both of them on the pitch at the same time, because you risk injury and then you're really screwed.
I know, but there's going to be a point where we're going to need to have them both on at the same time. We will not be in the lead all the time. We will need goals, and it's not the last 15 minutes that you're going to work on that partnership. If he wants to play both of them at the same time, and he's had ample amount of chances to do it, you know, with Chanalobulu hasn't been the greatest, and he's gotten a whole bunch of chances. So why does Chanalobulu get these chances and Cutrone and Piontek as a partnership do not? Same thing with Castillejo. He put in a fantastic game against Empoli, and unfortunately for us, it's not enough for him to start against Lazio. Suso's been terrible.
But who knows what he's going to do, right? So, but the Castillejo, yes, it was a great performance, played, top player of the game, but we need to see more consistency.
Well, let's ride it. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what we go on
because
from over there.
You know what? Coppa Italia is Coppa Italia, but we're in striking distance now of 3rd place. We're 2 points behind Inter. We have a game against Sassuolo. We have Derby coming up. It's time. I want to take advantage of this. We cannot do like we've done in past years, where you know what, Inter struggle a bit, and we give them a little bit of a cookie, where we don't pick up the points that we need. Now we're picking up the points, and they're giving us a little bit of the cookie. Actually, the VAR gave us a cookie, but whatever, we'll take it.
But and the guys for this Saturday against Sassuolo and Milan Club Montreal, please join us on a bubble lunch. Presidente splashing the cash, some pizza or something.
President is coming.
No, I said he's splashing the cash from a distance. Distance. He's going to telegram us some money.
Yeah.
So guys, come over, because we need to do a nice little video. We need to do a video for our brothers in Dublin, a special request, and it will be our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
We'll take it in the morning when those old men are playing cards in the back.
Exactly.
You know, on Saturday I was there 8:30 in the morning. There was about 60 guys in the back where they're playing cards and something
For a chocolate bar.
for a chocolate bar. Let's just call him.
Yeah.
Let's
It's Tommy time, everybody.
Let's just call him. Let's see. But
Da-da-da-da.
I have no idea what he wants to talk about.
Da-da-da-da. Tommy time. He just wants to complain.
But
For
what's he
sure he's going to
complain
say
about?
La Juve.
What is he going to complain
For
about?
sure he's talking about La Juve.
And that his poll went 50-50.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Tommy.
Good evening, Mr. Vince. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. We were just feeling so fantastic. We wanted to know how you were doing tonight.
I am doing outstanding.
Outstanding, he says.
Guys, are you ready? Are you ready for tomorrow, guys?
We were just talking about that with our guests. I think we're gonna come up with some points in this game tomorrow. Let me ask you, Tommy, Piontek or Cutrone tomorrow?
Piontek, all the way.
Okay.
Robocop needs to be there. Cutrone, we need to give him, you know, we need to give him time. He's 20 years old. He has plenty of soccer still in his legs. He's going to be a star, but he's young. He's only 20 years old, guys. Let's be patient with him.
Okay, so that's three people that tell us to go for Piontek, but it was a great win on Saturday, and it seems like your spirits
Friday.
Sorry, that your spirits are lifted there, Tommy. You seem in a good mood.
Oh, yes. And not only that, I am doing good because even Juventus lost. That, I am telling you guys, what did I tell you last week?
You did.
Who was going to win, Atletico or Juve?
You did tell us that Atletico was going to win.
That's right. And what happened? Atletico won.
And
These guys, they come out, they say, o campione, 34 anni there, that guy there, the Portuguese champ there,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
against Atletico. He was so good that he only took one shot on net all game.
But they were better against Bologna.
And even against Bologna. Against Bologna, which is not even Atletico, he only took one shot on net. That's it. That's all. Uomo invisibile.
so you're saying they're not doing la rimonta in
Ma che fa la rimonta indietro, fa marcia indietro, that's what they're doing. La rimonta fa marcia indietro, guarda che devono fare la fortuna che maybe in Turin they're going to lose 3-0. That game could have easily finished 5-0.
So far, Tommy's been good with his predictions from over there. So Tommy is happy Juventus lost. Tommy is happy that we won on Friday. Tommy's predicting. Are you saying?
Yeah, but hold on. Allegri had a good game plan against Atletico.
But Allegri, the only thing he wins, Allegri, è urinato dove ci pisciava dietro. Mio bisnonno. That's what he's going to win, Allegri. Allegri never won nothing with Milan, and he had a fantastic team when he was there. With the likes of Ibrahimovic and compagnie, Cassan, he had one of the best teams you could ever get.
He did win a Scudetto, Tommy.
He used to go to Champions League, used to get beaten out. Do you think he's going to do good with Juventus? Aspetta, mon ami.
Okay, but
He's gonna
let's
get beaten out.
say, Tommy.
In 2
Let's
weeks,
say,
it's out Juve.
Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's say Juve does a rimonta. Will you wear a Juve jersey?
You would have to kill me first.
So, guys, definitely Tommy's not putting no Juventus jersey. So, Tommy,
What were the results of the poll?
The results of the poll basically were going to be before we take off on Tommy time. I want to hear his point of view on people. We asked the Twitter poll that who would you cheer for, Juventus or Inter? Juventus was at 48%. I think Inter was at 52%. very straight down the middle, but some people more towards you saying that they would not cheer for Juventus. So what did you think about that poll there, Tommy?
That's great. That's a great result. How could you cheer for a team like that?
But I got
God, man, I'm telling you, I would never cheer for Juventus.
But-
Never.
but you would cheer
Never
for
in a
Inter.
million years.
But you would cheer for Inter.
Well, that's the only choice, sure. Anything, and I'll repeat myself, any team but Juve. Anybody, it could be anybody.
All right, so
It could be a Serie D team, and I'll still cheer for them against Juve. I don't like you. I can't stand them.
so guys,
These guys are pathetic.
he hasn't changed his mind.
They're la vergogna del calcio italiano, my friend.
So Tommy's happy. He's letting Juventus have it. And are they playing this week, Juve, or is it next week in Champions League? Is it did they skip a
I
week?
think it's 2 weeks time.
It's 2 weeks time, so we're definitely people are gonna want to know what Tommy's gonna have to think from all of that. So Tommy, before I let you go, what are we taking points tomorrow? We're winning,
Yes, we're winning.
and against us,
We are winning, and we're winning with pride tomorrow. We're with confidence. We're going to do it.
all
We're
right.
going to go to the finals, and we're going to win this Coppa Italia once and for all.
And how about
Forza Milan, guys.
Forza and Sassuolo?
What about Sassuolo?
Your prediction?
There's no chance against us. With Sassuolo, there's no chance.
No
Where are they
chance.
going?
No, guys, you've heard it. You've heard it from Tommy. No chance, Lazio. No chance, Sassuolo. Tommy, we bid you adieu. Thank you very much. Forza Milan.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you very much. And guys, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Buonasera, ragazzi.
Ciao, ciao. Steve, before
We have some Ask Vinny and Steve questions. The hashtag. I searched the hashtag. I found something new on. No, but what are you going?
well, no, you gotta click on the hashtag. Then you go
I already
latest.
searched for it.
But now you gotta go latest one day. Oh, so do have some questions. But Presidente, he was giving us some pointers.
Some pointers. Some how to increase your following on podcast 101 by
Il Presidente.
And he's got some sort of special announcement that we can't say too much.
No.
But Steve, can you just share what Presidente wants us to do or what wants us to say to our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, to help us out, guys, the president has put in a special request where if you listen to us on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, whatever the hell that means, and I don't know, share the podcast, I guess, right?
Something like a 5-star, and there's gonna be a
And
special
give us a review on iTunes.
a review. There we go. And Presidente has a special edition podcast coming out. You can't say too much, but it's a first.
It's a first.
We're gonna
yeah.
leave it at
It's
that,
It's
right?
big. It's big.
And now he changed his microphone. He's got the more expensive one now.
Yeah.
Because this guest of the stature needed to get another higher
He
end
went an
microphone.
octave higher.
Okay, so what do we have over here? You know the Twitter machine more than me. Here, you go for
Yeah, so I'll go from top to bottom there. We have Alessandro. Seeing Castillejo play a fantastic game versus Empoli, would you start him in the Coppa Italia on Tuesday or would you go with Suso?
I think we're all with as of me and you. I think we're gonna go with the Castillejo. Right,
I want
that way,
Castillejo.
Right? Yeah, definitely give him another break. He can use it.
Legends is on the line. Milan Legends.
Milan Legends.
First of all, happy birthday to both of you over the past week. Thank you very
Grazie.
much, Legends. Certainly, Milan have delivered you some pleasant B-Day wishes. The question, seeing the tight race for top 3 with 3 points between 3rd and 5th, how do you see those teams panning out for the remainder of the season?
Because it's really going to every point's gonna count. now.
Inter's a soap opera.
Yeah.
Inter's a soap opera. When you're a team of snakes,
They're so
and
popular they haven't
you're-
lost point.
And yeah, but you're getting moral moral guidance from Cassano
Yeah. Yeah.
on a show that
It's got a point, guys. It's got a point.
the person in question is the focal point of this soap opera, Wanda,
Mm-hmm.
how she could be an agent and also be a pundit at the same time is beyond me. I've never seen that in my life.
Ratings.
Yeah, I guess it's ratings, but you know, he's giving her advice, which in theory, if you listen to his advice, it's actually smart. It's actually well put out and well thought out, smart from Cassano. I can't even believe I'm saying it.
Because he said, he goes, I've done a lot of
He's
stupid
done a lot of stupid things, and he's admitted it. You know.
He's like, listen to
And
me.
what he's saying is for her husband to go into the dressing room and apologize and say and clear the air and say, you know what, from here to the end of the season, I'm with you 100%. At the end of the season, we'll shake hands and we'll see. Maybe I'll go my way, you go your way. It's okay, but it's a soap opera.
You ain't bigger than the team. Nobody could ever be bigger than the team.
Roma pulled a rabbit out of their hat against Frosinone. But Frosinone, per l'amor di Dio, you couldn't keep a tie. I don't understand you. How do you make Dzeko score?
Yeah, they completed like mental breakdown on that one there, and you knew it was coming. You just
And
knew
you know
it was
what?
coming.
And we've been privy to a whole bunch of these miraculous last minute things. But it left me over there that stupid game over there. But Manolas is injured, and they can't defend. Roma cannot defend. They can score goals,
They're
but
playing
they
Lazio this
cannot
weekend,
defend.
huh?
Yes, it's the derby. Time to take points, Milan. Time to take points.
This is not time to take
Lazio,
our
injury problems.
even with a game in hand, they're still
Injury problems. They have injury problems. Can they get out of it like Inter has? They're gonna make us. They're gonna make us. It's gonna be a very tight race, legends. Santo Canale, right?
Yes,
Okay.
a squants.
Yeah. How should Gattuso use Biglia when he's fit to play in games? Oh, that's a good question.
With the fourth, I'm assuming we're not changing
His
formation.
comments today were fantastic, Gattuso.
What did he say?
He said Biglia is getting back into shape and getting and fit to play. But apparently, Biglia understands that Bakayoko cannot be replaced right now. But he will be able to help.
So, guys, I think if you want to use Belia to his fullest potential, like not as a rotating player, you can't do it with the 4-3-3. I'm sorry, you would have to do it with a, keeping the back four, because we're not going to start going with a back three here, but a 3-4-1-2, a 3-4-2-1. I don't know. It's hard to say, but if he understands his role and recognizing that Bakayoko is on fire, could be that we're talking about Bakayoko doesn't need to be subbed out in the 80th minute. It could be subbed out in the 60th, 65.
That's what should have happened against Empoli
Yeah.
because he was hurt.
And he was.
He looked like he was hurt.
And thank God, Kessie picked up the slack because he was all over the place
Yeah.
on that game.
So Biglia has to understand his role.
Yeah.
We might see a dip in form in Bakayoko, and then we're going to need to call on Biglia again. I don't know. It's a very good question. I don't know how he's going to do it, but Gattuso's going to have to figure it out.
Mhm.
Milan Legends with a second part to his question. Do you see there being a clear third place takeover, or do you think it will be a fight until the end?
Oh, fight till
Fight till the end.
Fight till the end. Third and fourth spot, or a fight till the end. I would even say fifth spot for that matter. For whatever is in Europe, or Europa League and Champions League, it's going to be a fight until the end.
Cutrone. What do you guys think of Cutrone's agent's comments today? You guys think he will leave?
So we spoke about it before. I think he reading too much into this. Agents like to seem bigger than they are. No, I don't think he's leaving. I think he's going to remember who gave him that chance, and if he has to understand that we've screwed up in the past with the likes of Pato. We don't want that to happen again. So no, I don't think he's leaving. You, Steve, we said it. You don't think so?
I don't think so, but I think it's going to come to a point in time where he's going to want to play. And Gattuso's going to have to figure out a way to get him more minutes. Ian Solier, how do you feel about rotating a few players Friday in preparation for Copita? Oh no, that's an old question.
Yeah, that's you got to look at the dates. See, 18th of February, 58 minutes ago.
Yeah.
BJ Mack.
Happy birthday, Vinny. Conte or Calabria?
Do you guys write these questions and know what we've been talking about? This is like, it's like the Twilight Zone. Oh man, Conte. I'm gonna take the words out of my colleague here. Is soccer IQ seems to be a bit higher on the Conte side, talking about that pass. But can we just go 50-50?
Oh, I really like Conte. I really like him a lot.
And we did pay for him, guys. And remember that if it wasn't for Conte getting hurt, Calabria wouldn't have had that chance.
Yeah.
And if you are going to build a team to go to the Champions League, you need the Calabria and the Conte, right? Look at the big teams in the world. They're starting 11. They have another starting 11 on the bench, right? And everybody knows their roles. So it's basically coming down to these players understanding the role
Yeah.
and accepting those roles.
100%.
What else do we got over there?
So we have this one, which is a very interesting. Ask Vinny and Steve. First of all, Alessandro, which is our brother, says, "How stoned are you guys?" Well, we're not, believe it or not. So, secondly, his question is: Do you guys think that Gats wants to continue in Coppa Italia? Also, thoughts on who will start right back position from here on out.
So we've just discussed that too. I don't know what the question was.
I love Alessandro. He asked us if we're stoned, but his Twitter handle is @eggsandpancakes.
I'm just saying. What do we have there, Jan?
Does he want to compete? I think he wants to compete for Coppa Italia. I think they
Yeah, I
want
think
this
so.
trophy, and I think we should go for this trophy.
At this point, let's go, right?
Not at the expense of Champions League.
Not at the expense of our starting 11,
Yeah.
but ride the wave
Yeah.
of a hot streak and everybody plays well.
Jan,
Predictions for tomorrow's game versus Lazio. Thoughts on the use of VAR during the snake tie versus Fiorentina. I think we've answered that
Yeah.
one pretty much. And please ask your fellow Interista friend, how are you? That's a good question to ask.
yeah, read them.
What am I doing over there? So we got, here's from 1 hour ago, Mehdi, another Milan club member. Rumors saying that the management might give Gattuso a new deal. Do you think it's a good idea to do it now or wait until the end of the season? Also, happy birthday to you guys. Thank you. No, definitely till the end. You don't sign. We made that
Yeah.
mistake in the past there. We did that. No. You wait until the end, but you don't dangle the carrot and go, hey, by the way, if you perform better, I'm going to do the cut. Just discuss this at the end, and I don't think...
Well, it's an
Gattuso-
obvious thing that if he makes Champions League, he's getting a new deal.
No, so that,
But the new deal doesn't really mean that he's going to be our coach forever.
Hmm.
We've had like 5-6 coaches on the payroll at one time.
Hmm.
So, do I give him a deal right now? No. Do I wait till the end of the season? Yeah. And if he's making Champions League, guys, we're at the point now that, there's one of the questions that's going to be coming up. If Conte is available and you're in the Champions League, are you going to switch Gattuso for Conte? No, not at this point.
So, AC Milan Guru, he firstly asked who's victorious at EEW, Y2J or Kenny Omega? Can Hunter take over WWE already? We're all waiting, and I everybody's gonna say Omega. I'm gonna go with Jericho, the Canadian. Secondly, Caldara needs to start stepping up and take over
Fucking
Mazaki's
wrestler.
position. Enough time sitting on the bench being injured. I hear you, but Muzaki's been playing good. How do you tell a guy that's been, playing very well and tell him to sit on the bench?
Hassim was talking about
Hazem.
Hazem was talking about Romagnoli. Guys, Musacchio was just as good. Caldera's gonna have to wait his turn.
He's got a point there. Adrian, the Calcio guys. First off, wish Vinny a happy birthday. How are they forgetting about you? Did they at least wish you the happy birthday on
They
the...
did,
They did,
everybody
I
did.
know. Do you guys see Piontek slowing down his scoring similar to how he did at the beginning of the season with Genoa? Also, any thoughts on the Cutrone rumors? We spoke about Cutrone. We're both on the same side. Piontek, guys, he's not going to score a goal every 55 minutes the way he's been scoring so far. But I don't think he's going to go through like a 5-6 game drought.
I think there's a dip coming. I hope it's
there's
not
gonna
at
be
a
a-
bad time, but I think there's a dip coming. A striker who's that lethal and that prolific will gather a lot of attention.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull out the VHS tapes. They're gonna review his tendencies, and there's only so much that you could do as being that type of striker, right? Will he have to adjust a bit? I think he's gonna get less chances inside the box, but it seems like he's gonna be able to have a bit more space outside the box. And I compare him a little bit with they're similar strikers. Milik from Napoli.
Mm-hmm.
They look like a carbon copy of each other. Milik, obviously, he has the tendency to miss in tap-ins in Europe for some reason. I don't know why, but yet He's a fantastic free kick taker. Like, they have talents. He has talents that I don't know, Piontek, if he's able to take free kicks or not. We have this thing where it's Chanalobulu all the time. Maybe put him behind that ball and give him some other chances, right? We'll see. We'll see with spot kicks. We haven't had a spot kick yet. Usually it's Frank who takes them.
Yeah.
Are we going to start giving them to Piontek? I don't think so. We already made that friggin' mistake once, where Higuain went to take the ball from Kessie.
From Kessie, yeah, was that? No.
And he missed.
And he missed. And Peter Bernardi asking us if Castellet will have a starting spot. We did talk about it. I think for the next game, I think he merited himself a starting spot. And give a rest, give a rest to Suso, or give a rest to, saying Laxalt. Give a rest to Suso and Çalhanoğlu. We're going to need those legs, especially against Sassuolo.
But it's even for Suso to start thinking and say, you know what? I got to pick up my game here. I got to pick up my game. Because, Castillejo against Empoli, yeah, he made mistakes. But, as easy as it is for us to forgive the mistakes that Suso makes, we have to start doing that with players like Castillejo if we're going to give them a chance.
Definitely.
And we surely did it with Chanalobulu, that's for sure. And I hope, that if it is his wife's due date tomorrow, that Gattuso, we've seen it in a lot of professional sports where players play.
Yeah.
It happens all the time in hockey. We've seen it all the time. The player wants to play. He's now in this state of mind where I would leave it to the player and not judge him based on what his decision is, because he's gone through a very tough time with his wife. It's not a secret. I'm not making rumors here. This is the birth of his child. If he wants to be there, I fully support him being there. I'm not going to take it as someone who's going to say, you know what? Oh, he's not going to give that up for the team. No. The birth of your child is the birth of your child. There's not another one that's going to happen like that.
And we're running on a high. You could afford to do it, right? So why not?
Yeah, not even. Let's say you play him, and he has they have the baby, and he takes that negatively where he wasn't there, and that starts affecting him mentally. Let's make the guy be there. He enjoys his family. Become human for a second.
Mental
and
break.
say, you know what? Go be human. Stay relaxed. We're gonna take care of this for you, Çalhanoğlu, and Hav will be beat.
That's it.
Hav will be beat.
The indigestion of the week, Steve. Could it not go with the? No, I'm good. I'm not coming off.
Oh,
I'm not coming off.
Yeah.
No, guys.
I cannot handle this anymore. I cannot handle the British media.
In what day and age are we that a professional player, does that in the middle of a game? They have too much power, way too much power. They think that they could do anything. We should have asked Tommy what Saki would have done for something like that. We'd have had it for another hour. I think that's a breed.
I cannot think of anything else other than VAR again, which VAR I think is like the indigestion of the year for how badly they've been doing it.
But to me, it is my brioche of the week, because seeing that 2-minute stop against Fiorentina, and him coming out, and I'm like, they're gonna see right a touch, and it kind of rolled off his arm, and it's like they're gonna call it, and then I just see.
But
that was a feel-good moment.
To VAR's defense,
I think it's because
the ref made the call of handball, and right? It was a penalty shot. In the ref's eyes.
Yeah.
When he went to VAR, he needs concrete information that it did not touch. And he did not see that. And apparently, this is always listening to the fabulous podcast of our peers, the slow motion aspect of VAR is only supposed to be used in certain cases. And I think slowing down for did it actually touch his hand is one of them. But again, that's not clear. So it's always the same thing. What are the stipulations? What are the rules for VAR?
And maybe it's because it actually longed his arm. Who knows? I really don't know. But do you have any...
Spalletti, non è toccato, man. È toccato tupet.
Do you have a brioche of the week? A feel-good moment of the
Feel
week?
good moment, guys. I gotta say 3-0. Milan really felt good against Empoli on my birthday. Let me tell you that. But to top that off,
To top it.
Cassano giving life advice to Icardi and Wanda Nara has to be the brioche of every Milan's life.
Yeah, definitely.
Where
that
she
was,
sat at tiki-taki crying, ma no rento dentro spogliatore a fare questa, fare quella, blah, blah, blah. That team is a soap opera. If Milan couldn't get to that soap opera and how badly we've sucked for the 7 years, and this Inter team manages for some stupid reason to get into this soap opera at the worst possible time, where all their players, Perisic doesn't want Politano to celebrate, Perisic wants to take the penalty shot instead of someone else, Icardi not on the pitch, now he's injured with a knee injury that he's going to elect to have surgery and not play anymore, then he's going to leave in the summer. Brioche per tutti, brioche.
Before we let you guys go, you imagine something like that would have happened in the days of the Maldinis, the Baresi, the Zanettis, the Cambiasso for that matter. These guys would not have the opportunity to go talk and have their wives/agents on and talking about their personal stuff. Stuff stays between closed doors. Saturday, noon. See you guys at Chocharo's.
Everybody at Milan Club Montreal needs to show up.
We're getting some funds released from the vault.
Yeah.
Downstairs at Presidente's house. So guys, ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan.
Ciao.